3 days. How would you evaluate the team? Is that through the first part of the training camp and going into tomorrow's preseason game?
I like where we're at. Every day, I think we've gotten better, at whatever our focus was as a group. Just the intensity as a group. Everything we're doing as a group is kind of just feeding us. So I like where we're at. Looking forward to preseason.
Tilo, you made it a point to apologize both on TV and in your media session with us on Monday. What was sort of the impetus for that? Like that level of reflection. When did that hit? That felt like something you wanted to do?
I left y'all with what I left y'all with. That's all I really got. That was in the past. I'm just moving forward.
When you sort of audited yourself after last season, were those the things that you felt like you really wanted to put your foot down on this year moving forwards? Is that a fair way of looking at it?
At the end of the day, the main goal is basketball. I think I do that. So obviously a lot of people get distracted from that and everything else matters but basketball. So for me, trying to eliminate the distractions, that y'all can use against me or say against me. So try to eliminate it.
How has installation gone in terms of incorporating new languages and different stuff like that with this group? And has the fact that obviously JJ and the entire coaching staff is different, but the roster being functionally the same, has that made it easier?
Yeah, I think our group, we got some familiarity with some of the core guys that are here and obviously returning and is healthy from last year. I just think it's a high IQ. The verbiage is very high IQ. JJ's a high IQ guy. Our leaders are high IQ guys. I just think you start from the top. It's easy to sprinkle down with guys.
Going back to Monday, you were asked about what a career year looks like for you. You mentioned the defensive end of the floor. You mentioned something similar last year too about wanting to step up at that end. You said Derek White was inspiration for you on that. What more can you do? What more did you think you can do to step up on that end that you didn't do last season?
Just be solid. I think I did it last season, but just be even more solid. Obviously trying to develop the trust with our new coaching staff. There's a point in the game where you can sub guys in for defensive possessions and obviously get your defenders out there, and vice versa, get your offensive players out there for advantage. Trying to develop that trust with coach, to where he can trust me to be solid on the defensive end. So I am out there when we get that stop and we can just run, instead of, calling a timeout to get guys in the game. So just trying to develop that trust is my main focus.
This time of year, with the refresh of the season, there's almost a natural thing for any ball club to come in with like a new mindset. But how can you guys turn that energy into something that sustains?
I just think one day at a time. Obviously, a lot of things are being thrown at us at the moment. It's early, training camp, preseason, all that. Just one day at a time, trying to get better. I think the progression that we've had the last few days we've been here has been great. And it's something to really look forward to.
I know you have a relationship with Cat, and you guys are playing Minnesota both to start the preseason and start the regular season. Just what were your impressions of the trade and him leaving the Western Conference, and what the Wolves are like as a Western Conference foe now with the new personnel?
He dominated the West, and the West is obviously a little more better than the East. So for him to go to the East, I think he's just going to dominate it. Simple as that.
You also talked on Monday about just looking to maintain more focus defensively, even with smaller things and box out stuff like that. You're year 10 in your career. What are the challenges of just developing new habits this later in your career, new focuses?
I think that's the goal, coming into the season. Obviously practice them during the summertime, and that was my practice all summer, just trying to be one day at a time. My approach and my mentality going into each day, attacking that. So obviously it's the same thing here, new challenges or whatnot, but seeing if I can just attack one day at a time with focus. I think attention to details and things like that is really what separates me from having a great game or good game or a bad game, but just that attention to focus on offense and defense.
Is it similar to the attention to details you put when, say, the ball is in your hands or you're running the offense?
No, I'm not used to it. I can run the offense, y'all know that, but obviously we got a lot of playmakers and guys that can do that here. So for me, figuring out ways to stay dangerous, but also be assertive when the ball is not in my hand.
We've heard
D'Angelo, not just with because Bronny's here, but with LeBron, AD, like that have their kids. You now as a father, right? These last couple of years, is there any way that you kind of bond over that, or are there things that teaches you about being a player and a man, and how does that translate?
Yeah, I mean, you see it already. Obviously, Bron's in the locker room with his son, so there's father-son moments there. And, for me, I respect it. I appreciate it. It's a little different though, because I've never seen that, and to normalize it right away is crazy. But I think for us to continue to see that, and it's becoming more normal to see those those conversations and those encounters, it's becoming normal. So I guess it is what it is.
And do you find yourself, with AD or anybody else that has kids, do you find some of the conversation then tilts to kids and what it's like being a father?
Yeah, I mean, obviously AD. We connected earlier last year. He invited me to his house and things like that. And I got to see his relationship with his daughters. Obviously, want to be a girl dad and a girl dad now. We kind of broke that down to Palinka as well. I think he gave me some great feedback on just fatherhood, boy dad, girl dad perspective. So a lot of people, I ask those questions. Everybody here can relate. So it's cool to have that.
Last two.
D'Lo, since you came back, I've heard you talk about IQ and a lot, and thinking the game as well. Have you enjoyed kind of the level of minutia you guys can get into?
Hell yeah.
With this, with what's going on here in camp?
I mean, yeah, it excites me because I haven't really had the opportunity to. I'm not throwing shots at anybody. Obviously, I know it kind of spins like that, but I've never really had the opportunity to build a relationship with a coach over a long period of time. Most recently was Finch in Minnesota, and it was great. We got to the playoffs. We started doing really well, and obviously the business of the basketball side works out. But for me to see how JJ's trying to bring these play calls, just level of IQ into each practice, in each film session, whatever it may be, to see he's prioritizing that. And I've always been a guy that wanted to prioritize high IQ, high verbiage, high film sessions. Like, let's rise to that. And he's obviously doing it. So, like I said, it's something to look forward to.
Playing on that.
Last question.
The other day, he said that 2 of the 3 ATOs that he ran out in practice ended up being successfast. I mean, is that something that you look to? Like, is that like a coach's bag, so to speak?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. That's exactly what I was speaking on. I mean, yesterday, he drew up a play, and I don't even know if it worked. I think Jackson did a great job of sniffing the play out, but I was on the golf course and I was thinking about it, and I sent JJ a little voice note kind of thanking him for putting that out. I never seen it. I'm not trying to hype it up, but I thanked him for, showing me that, and obviously it didn't work, but I saw like him getting into his bag right there. It's exciting for players that, kind of know stuff like that. Cool.
Thanks, D'Lo.
Appreciate y'all.
Anybody want to start us off?
I'm sure you just heard JJ said he'd love to have 10 Gabe Vincents on the team. Yeah, so what's your reaction to that?
I just appreciate that. I appreciate his acknowledgement of the work I've been putting in and what I bring to the table each day.
You've been a part of several training camps at this point. What stands out to you about the way JJ's gone about this camp compared to last year and even previous seasons you've had with the Heat?
Yeah, I mean, I think JJ and his staff have been very intentional with our time in the gym, with the drills that we're doing. So, I mean, they've had a plan coming in and then executing it effectively.
Kind of go for it, Jordan.
Just kind of going on time efficiency. All the players have mentioned that time efficiency. What sticks out in terms of time efficiency? Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think whether it's communicating the drill or task at hand, and then us executing. We're able to do it intensely in a short amount of time, or shorter amount of time, if you will, to just get the most out of our day. So, to take a couple hours and just maximize it.
It goes without saying that this is going to be an important year for you, considering last year how year 1 with Lakers went for you. How have you been preparing for it with everything, mind, body, spirit, in the offseason for this moment?
I mean, honestly, every year is important, to be honest. So the preparation has been somewhat of the same. Having a little extra time in the offseason is great for the body, and obviously great for the mind. So eager to get out there and compete. Only playing 11 games last year. The competitor in me is eager to get out.
D'Lo was named the starter by JJ, and obviously from Volca last year he was the starter. How do you think you guys can kind of complement each other? Do you imagine spending much time on the court together? Like, just how do you look at that dynamic?
I mean, I have no clue what the rotation is going to be like or how they'll do that or who I'll be on the court with. But D'Lo's a hell of a player. Happy for him, and it's great for this ball club. So anything to help us win games.
Gabe, along those lines, if you're paired with D'Lo or sometimes with Austin, are there you can kind of approach that the same way, just given what their skill sets are and what yours are? Do you feel like either way it's a pretty natural backcourt fit?
Yeah, I mean, I think both of them are different, as far as they're both very skilled, but their style of play is a little different. So I can play with both. I think it just depends on what the situation is. And what's nice part is either one of us could handle. Either one of us three, so it gives us opportunity for someone else to get out and run, and someone else to handle. So we get both actions.
With the first preseason game coming up, well, how do you kind of evaluate that? Kind of with obviously now you've only had 3 days of practices, but like, what are you kind of looking for going into the first game?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've had a couple of things we've touched on that are points of emphasis for us in our bigger picture. Obviously you want to do well in every game and win every game, but we have a bigger picture we're chasing. So trying to work towards our ultimate goal each day.
When you look at last season and all the time that you missed, where do you feel like were the areas you could have affected the most or could have provided the most help?
I mean, everywhere, to be honest. There were stretches where I wasn't even in attendance, whether it was a road trip or some home games I couldn't make it to due to injury. So a presence, a voice, sometimes it's a different perspective that can be very helpful. In this game that comes down to seconds and decisions in one play. So everything matters for us.
I want to ask you about you and your relationship with D'Lo. Y'all been doing a lot of workouts together, and the grouping's been a little bit different this year. How's y'all relationship grown since you first got here?
It's grown a lot. I mean, like I said, he's a high level player. He's very skilled. He's a great shooter, so we get shots up. But I like to shoot with great shooters too. So work on my game and try to push one another, even if it's in a small 10 minutes, and just get some shots up. So we try to get creative with that and talk about concepts off the court, on the court, and so forth.
Gabe, as soon as we enter, we can hear music blasting, and when we come in, the energy seems pretty high. Everyone seems to be in good spirits. Obviously, it's early in training camp, but have you ever experienced like a live DJ while playing in this kind of setting? And what does that do compared to just, maybe just having the music on or just playing without it?
I mean, it's definitely a little different for me. I think it just allows a layer of distraction. There's a lot of stuff going on in the game for fan experience. It's 20,000 people in there. It's music. It's fans jumping around. So we need to be able to tune out even a great DJ in the corner. So it was just another layer for us to just work on our game and work on our communication.
At what point in the offseason did you feel like, obviously you came back and played late in the season and in the playoffs, but at what point did you feel like your body was 100%?
That's a tough one. Probably like a month or so after the year ended. Obviously I was healthy enough to come back and compete, but I think it was clear to everybody I wasn't really myself. Even though I was able to impact in certain ways at times, it just wasn't really what I was proud of producing, and I don't think it's what this ball club needed me at that time to produce. So definitely happy to be healthy coming into the season.
Thanks, Gabe.
Appreciate you.
Darvish or Ohtani? Padres or Dodgers?
Say it again.
Padres or Dodgers?
Yeah, I gotta say, no matter what. You know what? Actually, you Darvish, right? You Darvish in.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, that's a tough one. He's like my mentor, When I got to the league, and he was always like supporting me. He was always. He came to the game too one time. I remember that when I was in DC, he had whole like my jerseys, everything on. But yeah, I mean, it's just like one of those. It's just I'm just happy to see those Japanese athletes. They playing against in one of the biggest stage, in the world. So yeah, I'm just happy to see it, and I'm so proud of them, those two. Yeah.
Did you play baseball much growing up?
Yeah, that was my actually first sport. Yeah, it's actually my roots. I'm actually mean the base in baseball in Japanese. So yeah, it's actually I was meant to be a baseball player. I really was.
I would imagine you were pretty good. No?
I know my grandpa's probably so disappointed. We did a lot of practice together and all that, and all the time I'm quitting. So, yeah. Have you spent much time with? Obviously, Shohei's been playing right this whole time, but have you been able to be around him in person and or talking to you about? No. I met him a couple times, but it wasn't really. We didn't have a conversation. We don't really have a common. But yeah, he's just. I know he came to the game one time too. Actually, when I was in DC, when we played against the Lakers, actually, he came here. He came to watch the game, and we talked a little bit. But yeah, pretty much it. Yeah.
What have you thought of the level of detail that you guys have gotten into on plays and positioning on the court and stuff like that in the install process? And I guess Has JJ overloaded you guys? How do you think he's handled that part of it?
No, I think they've been doing a good job. The coaching has been awesome. With we kind of dividing every day. Just giving us like kind of goals. Today is this, today is this, today this. So like we are able to kind of focus on their goals, and we are able to just follow their like drills, whatever, and I can see that we can actually use it in the game. So it's been like a lot of details, but I don't think it's not too much.
What was the goal today?
Today was a tornado. That's what he said. So no, he was just saying that because we only have a 1 hour practice, so we're just gonna go hard and then
Just fly around.
Yeah. We just wanted like a high intense today, so that's what we did, and we had a really good practice today. I think it was a short time. It's been great. Yeah.
How would you describe the energy around the team and just your early impressions of JJ as a coach?
No, it's been great. Like you guys know, he was just a player. A couple years ago. So I think good thing about it is just he was just in the league, so he knows exactly what's happening in this league right now. So he can teach coaching us from the player standpoint. So like it's easy for us. It's easier to understand. For me, even it's like it just makes sense. Whatever he says just makes sense, and I think it's good. Yeah.
You mentioned the tornado and then an hour practice. Everyone's been talking about time efficiency here.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen in terms of difference between the time efficiency between other coaches and JJ? He just on it. Like he just want to be. Like I said, he was just a player, so he know exactly how we do in the NBA practice and stuff. I haven't really practiced like that. Since I got in the league. Shout out to Coach Brooks. He was my first head coach, but we never practiced. The first and second year. But yeah, it's just just a different, a little different than what I used to do. But I like it. It's just we can kind of actually. We've been competing each other, we just competing, we like the flow, and we getting up and down. Our conditions has been good, so yeah, I just think that he's just trying to be more professional, in that way.
You've been in LA a short amount of time, relatively, like a year and a half or so. You come in, much talked about that game in Houston, you get a DNP. Since then, you've earned a new contract, and you go into this year with JJ declaring you as a starter. Like, what's your level of comfort now as a Laker, and how can having that kind of base of comfort help you perform this year?
Like, as you guys know, like you say, it was like really up and down, since I got into here, but I think end of the day, I was just trying to be me, just myself, and whoever sees or watching me, they always give me credit. So that's I've been working for this whole entire my life, and that's what I'm here for, and I'm ready to win the championship here. So yeah, that's what our goal this year, and we're just gonna keep doing it.
Do you feel like the starting group has picked up where they left off last season in terms of just chemistry and figuring things out?
No. I think over the course, like literally during the summer, even summer, we kind of keep in touch, kept in touch, and we talk about, just the basketball, even I saw Brown Eddie in Olympics, D'Lo came to the Olympics for support and all that, so Vando was there too. So yeah, we're just like our chemistry has been great, since even we just got, back like last week or whatever, this week. It doesn't feel like, we've been like I feel like we've been still, building the chemistry, so it's been great. Yeah.
Any of the young guys impress you with where they were in the spring to where they are now? Just anybody that you feel like has gotten better?
Jalen has been great. He been I can see he been putting a lot of work in his body. He got way stronger. I can see that he's just more confident. He had a surgery a little bit over the summer, but he overcame, and I think he looked strong, so healthy. So yeah, I like it.
You've mentioned a couple times now that JJ wasn't that long ago that he was a player. Does that help you guys in terms of feeling confident that even though this is his first time coaching, he understands you guys, or he'll understand what you need?
Yeah, I think because he was a really good player. So we just from before the coaching stuff, we just respect him as a player, you know, before. So, and I played against him. It's crazy, like 2-3 years ago. I remember that, you know. So, like, you know, we understand his, you know, philosophy, you know, what he talk about and stuff. So it's just easy for us to understand, you know, because like I said, you know, we said like he was just a player a couple years ago. So he's just it's easy to understand.
I wanted to ask you about D'Lo, you know, in the relationship. A lot of players mention him as someone like they really rock with, and he came to your game, you know, in the Olympics. Like, can you speak to that and how the relationship's been and how it's grown?
No, yeah, me and him talk all the time. You know, we just, you know, of course, talk about basketball, but outside of basketball too, we always, you know, talk about just the general in the life. You know, I like his how he thinks. You know, he's just a little unique. So, you know, he just think differently. So when I want advice, you know, because of course he's a vet. He's been in the league for 10 years almost. You know, he's been going through a lot of stuff. And yeah, when I needed some advice, I asked him, and he always give me like a good advice. You know, so yeah, I always keep in touch with him.
Thanks, Roy.
Yeah, thank you.